Congressman Cory Mills, who filed the impeachment articles. Sir, what is a high crime and misdemeanor?
Well, again, this is the quid pro quo. I mean, we know the exact reason why President Biden is trying to force the Israelis to do a certain thing, and it's not because he didn't know what was in the bill. It was very clear what was in the supplemental even prior to him signing it. What he did was he actually went forward and supplied Gaza, pulling the wool over our eyes, and that aid fell into Hamas's pockets, and we already know that, and it's been verified. But what he's looking at right now is if you go back to the 2024 Michigan primary, you look at the fact that 101,457 people voted uncommitted. That's 13.2% of the overall vote. He now sees that he's upside down in the polls, and he thinks that withholding aid or shifting Israel's military defense will win him votes, and that's the reason he's doing this.
So is it a high crime that it's already been appropriated by Congress, and he's violating that?
Congressionally, that's correct. If you go back actually to Joe Biden's own tweet, he actually talked about the fact that withholding congressionally appropriated aid to Ukraine to get something politically in response, that President Trump should be impeached for it. Well, now here he is actually withholding aid to try and influence political votes in Michigan so that he can try and go ahead and forward himself in the 2024 elections, because he knows 13.2% in Michigan voted uncommitted after Democrat Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib had told them if he supports Israel that they will hold it. This is what this is about. This guy is literally buying votes by holding aid from Israel.
Got it. So President Biden called it an abuse of power in 2020 when President Trump ordered the suspension of nearly $400 million in military aid that Congress had appropriated to Ukraine. So you're using the same template Democrats, led by Jerry Nadler, used to impeach Trump. By the way, now we've got new reports coming in. The Cairo talks with Hamas to release hostages failed. Hamas says it's not going to budge after the president pulled the trigger and decided not to send this aid. Show the American hostages still held by Hamas. Now, this is the issue, too. How careful is Israel in this incursion into Rafah? Is it doing all it can to stop the death of innocent civilians? We know they were dropping in flyers, pretty much begging civilians to evacuate. But is that enough? Gaza is saying there's 35,000 now dead.
Well, they're absolutely doing everything they can, and we know that because even some of Biden's own deputy secretaries of defense have come in and testified before the Armed Services Committee saying that they do believe that they are taking in every single action to try and limit collateral damage. But here's the thing. If Biden was so concerned with just that focus and that he didn't want aid or he didn't want munitions to fall into the bad hands, then why did he just one day prior to preventing Israel from getting aid, he signed a waiver that bypasses sanctions on both Qatar and Lebanon to receive weapons. Lebanon, who has Hassan Nasrallah, who is the head of Hezbollah. So we see this very clearly, that he is utilizing the money that he is withholding under the congressionally appropriated aid that he requests in an effort to try and buy votes from those who voted uncommitted in Michigan and other areas who are anti-Israel. You
know, Senator Joni Ernst says Biden is playing politics over Israel. We now have 26 House Democrats just slamming Biden in a letter they sent to him. The Associated Press reported the president did try to manipulate the news cycle and voters by hiding his decision to do this until after he gave a speech on Holocaust Remembrance Day. It's also being debated if he really wanted to save lives, he'd ramp up the pressure on Hamas. And how is it humanitarian for Biden to stop precision-guided technology that reduces civilian casualties and collateral damage?
Well, I'll tell you, the thing that's the most shocking to me, Liz, just to go back to this, is that he's already released so much money into Gaza, which has fallen into the hands of Hamas, which is now being sold to the Palestinian people to help to continue to fund their counterinsurgency. And meanwhile, he's trying to prevent and tell the Israeli Defense Force that they shouldn't actually eliminate Hamas, which is a known terrorist organization. I mean, the idea that, could you imagine if a nation would have told us after 9/11 that we shouldn't go into Afghanistan and strike those who are responsible for it? That's what he's doing. But he's not only doing that, he's doing it in an effort to try and buy votes. Again, I use 98% of the language used by Representative Jerry Nadler, and I hope that Nadler and his colleagues will support this impeachment article the way that they did against President Trump when they claimed that it was quid pro quo then.
Do you have Republican support for it?
We do. We have Republican support from many of my members, to
How many?
include Byron Donalds, to include Eli Crane, to include Higgins. We just filed it today, and we're getting more and more that are continuing to add on.
Got it. Congressman Mills, thanks for joining us tonight.